Hello, welcome to March 29th, 2025. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation. This is an exercise that I do every morning, a little bit after waking up, to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone. I also use the time to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with the challenges and the opportunities that I met. I plan for the coming day. I go over the objectives of my creed. I ready myself to die, and I'm off to the races. But first, before I get started, greetings, welcome to new subscribers. Also, just to let you know that though this is a video taking place in Japan, I'm at a Japanese convenience store, it's not about Japan. This is my personal diary. You're welcome to sit in and listen if you like. I do it publicly. I don't read or respond to comments though until I'm done. All right, and also I do want to thank you if you're for watching my video, or if you're a YouTube member or a Patreon supporter. You bought me my coffee this morning. I appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to do three things now. I'll talk about the last 24 hours, how I did with any notable challenges or opportunities. I'll recite the 8 objectives of my creed, and then I'll go over my plan for the day. For the last 24 hours, I only have one thing that I noted. I keep notes every day, and this was a significant one, but interesting. I slightly overdid it in the garden. The Retiring in Japan video, which is the other daily video that I do at 4 p.m. It uploads at 4 p.m. every day, so it won't go live on this channel for another half day. In that video, I have a section in there from yesterday showing the very deliberate effort that I made in the garden to tame the plot of land where I'm going to plant a garden. This is the first time I've ever attempted gardening in earnest, other than a few containers. And I'm attempting to actually reclaim a bit of land that hasn't been utilized in at least since World War II. Since maybe the 50s. It was farmland at one time, but imagine, land that has been 70 years fallow, and you're going to convert that into farmland, or convert that into a garden. It's an enormous job. I never realized just how much work it is to tame the land. That term, rubs me a little bit wrong, because it sounds like an opposition to the land, but I guess in a way it is. I guess we are imposing our human will upon the land, taming it from its normal aspirations, namely the incredible root infrastructure beneath the soil. So I let the camera run yesterday for 40 minutes, filming me, my efforts at cutting at the soil, clipping at the roots. I sped it up 4 times, so most of the video, the 40 minutes, are condensed down to 4 times speed, so it goes very quickly. Yet I wanted to capture that whole thing, because at the end, I sit down and I don't collapse. I'm in good shape, but I was up to the task, and you could see how fatigued I was. And then I let the video capture that. The reason that that's noteworthy is that and the word slightly, I said slightly overdid it. A couple of times since I've bought this house in Japan. Oh, by the way, if you don't know, I'm a 60-year-old retired American living in Japan with my 60-year-old retired Japanese wife. We have a 24-year-old daughter named Emily. My wife's name is Yumiko, and Emily lives in Tokyo, where she is starting her career. Anyway, since we bought this house and started working the land, I've had a couple of times where I've really overdone it, because my body wasn't conditioned to that kind of work. Dangerously so, overdid it. So this was not a case of dangerous. This was a little bit, if there was a tachometer on my life, I said I was just touching the red zone yesterday, and I stopped. So that's why I get kudos. And remember, this exercise is not for me to congratulate myself for the day. It's about to point out, to isolate the tricky bits from the last 24 hours. I'd say, here was a tricky bit. How did I do on that? Did I succeed in managing it, or did I fail? And if I succeeded, what did I do that facilitated success? And if I failed, to whatever degree, what was it that I tripped upon, and how could I do better in the future? So probably, being honest, I probably should have stopped 10 minutes sooner, 30 minutes in. Would have been smarter. So I'll give myself a little chastisement for that. It's definitely not a 5-star event, but I did catch myself eventually, and I stopped before. Here's how I know I didn't go too far. I came back into the house and popped under the shower, and within 15-20 minutes, I was in great shape again. If I had gone really legitimately too far, I would have been wiped out for the rest of the evening and still feeling bad today. That's that far into the red zone, and it wasn't. So I'm going to give myself 3 stars for that. And it's the only activity that I have on the list for yesterday. So I'm going to give yesterday a 3-star day. Not a 5-star day, which is the max I could get, but good enough. That's a pretty good day. Now, as for the creed, I have 8 objectives that I'm seeking to strive after in the course of my life. These are defined in my book, Going Alone, in the chapter titled The Good Life, which you can read for free at goingalone.org, or you can buy the book if you want. It's available on Amazon, or in my YouTube store. All right, there are 8 objectives as follows. 1, to be always ready to die, to have my affairs in order, my relationship sound, and my life's work complete. So I have to ask myself, are they? Yes, they are. I completed the taxes this week, paid the accountant, it's all done. My affairs are nicely in order, as well as all the stuff related to being retired, making sure that my succession plan is in place, my beneficiaries are in place, my survivorship, etc. Namely, making sure that my wife is taken care of for the rest of her life. Should I die? When I die, should I die before her? So yeah, I'm ready to die. I reached out to my mom yesterday as well and talked to her, and my book is written. My daughter is raised. Yeah, so my life's work is complete too. Number 2 is to make good and effective use of time, to not waste my days. 3, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, namely these 8 objectives and 35 principles. 4 is to cultivate good emotional reactions, to become someone who reacts well when things go sour. 5, to perform good actions relative to my creed. 6, to do just one thing at a time and do the thing slowly, deliberately, and carefully. 7, actually I'm off by 1. 8, to keep my balance. That's all 8. I got my numbers messed up. Balance means it's kind of the totality of all of those things. If I'm living a deliberate life, letting reason be my arbiter of activities, maintaining control over my emotions in a reasonable manner, and in alignment with my objectives, namely to not waste time, to be ready for death, and to seek after the improvement of the well-being of thinking creatures. Sounds as kind of interesting as that sounds. There's a lot into it. It's very simple. It basically means increasing peace and reducing unhappiness in the world, reducing reasonable unhappiness. Some unhappiness you just can't do anything about, If I'm doing all those things, then I'm living in accordance with my objectives and my creed. So that's it for the creed. And then for today, what are the goals for the next 24 hours? Well, it's a Saturday, and Yumiko and I are planning to go to the shrine. I think it's today, or maybe it's tomorrow, to do some shopping for our house, antique shopping. We're going for that Taisho era decor, which you can get at the antique stores, at the flea markets. And then the second thing is I'm going to work on a business plan to reopening my old antique business. Now, if you've watched these videos, you know that I'm very adverse to work. Now that I'm retired, I don't want to ever work again. I won't. No. That's work is a dirty. I've added that. I don't use profanity on my videos or my life, but I'm adding WORK to that list. It pains me to even speak that word. It's amazing how visceral this is. And it's only since I retired that this has occurred. I didn't feel this way. I didn't like work before, but I didn't feel this way. I guess it's like if you were a smoker and you smoked for years and years and years, and you're like, it's just smoking. Yeah, they say it's bad for you. And then when you finish and you realize, oh, what a disgusting thing I did. And now that I'm done with my work life, I look at work the same way. And I recognize that it's a necessity. I had to do it for 40 years to sustain myself, to raise a family, to see my daughter through college, and to prepare for retirement. But now that I'm done with all of that, I regret deeply that I spent so much of my life dedicated to such a friggin' waste of time. God, not that it was a waste of, okay. It's interesting how it comes out that way. I say I hate it, I say it was a waste of time, but I was very satisfied with what I did with my career, and it wasn't a waste of time. I was definitely making the world a better place. As an IT project manager in the public sector, working on enterprise level projects that helped public servants do their job better for the service of the public, that's very worthwhile work. That's what I did. So it's not the work itself. It's not my job. It's not my boss's, except that one. None of that stuff. It's the fact that I consumed the best years of my vitality doing things that I didn't want to do. I get this precious, 6, 7, hopefully 8 decades of life, and how much of this, and that's it. I don't believe in an afterlife, so that's it. And I can't believe how much of it I spent so toiling away under the dome of a fluorescent light. Well, all of this was happening around me. Now that I'm retired and I can enjoy this in earnest, I'm like, but now that it's like a joke, right? It's like, because now that I'm 60 and I'm old and I'm weakening, diseases are beginning to creep in, death will be here shortly. It's like a sick joke in a way. Although it's not, because I get a lot of worthwhile stuff out of it. I raised a daughter, I sustained a family, I did good things with my career. You see, I vacillate back and forth. I see the benefit of my career. It's not like I was a drug dealer. I did really good things with my career. Yet, personally, I feel cheated. I hope that comes across. I keep saying it. It keeps coming up on almost every video these days. It's so deep. Cheated. And I don't know a better way. So anyway, that said, that was a long preamble for the one thing I'm going to do today, which is I'm going to work on, surprise, surprise, a business plan to resurrect my old antique business, the old Tokaido, which I started when I lived here in Japan before, and I ran here before successfully until the 2008 financial crisis wiped us out, and I lost everything. Now, I enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed being an antique dealer until I didn't. And the reason I didn't was that I did it professionally. I did it kind of as a hobby for a while, and then I said, I'm going to do this as a job. And when I started doing it as a job, that's when it stopped being fun. So I'm not going to do it like that again. I'm going to do it for fun, and I'm not going to make the mistakes I made before. I learned a lot from that. So I'm going to work on that today, a business plan for my old business, the old Tokaido, which I'm bringing back in April. And that's it. And I'm done for the morning. And there's Robert saying, good morning, Kurt. Good morning, Robert. I see you in comments. I'm going to stop for now and wish everybody the best. Be safe, but not too safe. Take care. Have a great day.